You cannot change where you come from, and when you leave, where you come from still changes you after. Who are you when half of your life has been lived outside of the place where you're from, and half of your life is spent where you are from? Half of my life has been in Texas, but after this, half of my life has been outside of Texas. And increasingly now in Britain and in Wales. How does Texas look now? And what do I think about it? Well, I still love sauerkraut. In fact, most of what I miss about Texas are the parts of it that are the cultures that came to Texas, which we made Texan in our own way, like sauerkraut. I love it. Pretzel! Czech beer, German beer, Kartoffel, Schnitzel. Why did I give up pork? Bratwurst. Why did I give up pork? Tex-Mex, Bluebell ice cream, and from the Texan soil itself, pecans. Pecans in ice cream. German chocolates, sweets. These are all foods. But they come from elsewhere, really, in their roots, like smoked brisket. The first mention of brisket comes from Texan Jewish cafes in the early 1900s. I had no idea it was Jewish. I miss the outdoor music, the jazz, not so much the country music, that was never my thing, but the blues, the Spanish music echoing down my hallway. Yeah, I miss those musics being more than an accent, something natural. And the accent, yeah. People in the UK talk too fast. I miss people who speak at a normal speed. There's so much I miss about Texas. The way that light slides over a glass-flecked parking lot in the evening when the humidity is thick and the day has been hot and there's been a bit of rain about 2 miles off and it's carried over wet dust. Where I live now shapes how I see Texas now. Wales, Cymru. We are a small country. Texas is not. And before I go further, yes, Texas is a country. But the Texas I am from is not all of it. Houston and the Bayou. We are a collection of ecosystems, swamp, bits of high desert in the far west, jagged canyons, prairie, savanna-like areas, hill country, coast, eastern woodland. We are bigger than France in terms of the variation of our country. This largeness gives we Texans a sense of pride, which is good, but which, let's be honest, our neighbors in Louisiana, Oklahoma, Mexico don't always appreciate. Looking back, this deeply contrasts with Wales. There's nothing wrong with being proud of Texas. But because we are the big boys in the neighborhood, we don't have to shout about being what we are. We have the biggest conurbations of population between the Mexican Plateau and Chicago, between the East Coast and California. One day in the centuries to come, we will be as influential in this world as France, or Turkey, or Iran. That is the destiny of the Texan people. I see that clearly now. We have Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, all in a massive triangle whose population has exploded on a scale which is the steepest population growth in the Western Hemisphere. We will be a power. Nothing on earth can change that. In the centuries to come after America is gone, we will still be here. We are Texans, and I feel being a great nation is our destiny in the distant future. But for now, this population growth has been an explosion, pulling in people from the Great Lakes down to us, and from Central America and California. People are moving here from Vietnam, Iran, South Africa. Texas is absorbing the world and changing through it, laying the groundwork of a great nation in the centuries to come. That is how I see us now, and I did not see this as a boy, because we are unable to express ourselves fully in the American context. Because, like Wales, who is unable to express a center-right pro-market voice, because anytime someone expresses a conservative desire, they're seen as siding with the scarecrow of the English Tories, the boogeyman. We, conversely, are seen as the scarecrow of siding with the New England Yankees or the liberal Californians. So we're unable to develop this dual sense of nature within ourselves fully. And that makes us smaller than we could be if the whole context of our politics and culture was within Texas, not comparing ourselves to without, to others, but coming back to pride. From the outside looking in, now I see that we forget others too often in Texas. Living in the United Kingdom, I can no longer consider a nation civilized if it does not provide basic health care for all of its citizens. And I don't even consider this to be left-wing. I'm not a socialist. It's just basic humanity to provide all of your citizens with health care. And of others, I see a society in Texas ripped open between rich and poor. With all we have, we don't need to boast, my fellow Texans, about who we are. Long after the United States is gone in the centuries to come, the Bayou country to the east will form its own beautiful culture. The prairie nations to the north will form their own beautiful culture, as will something in the Mississippi River Valley, the western deserts, and North Mexico cities. But we Texans will be a dominant power, and we have a responsibility, I think, to be humble and less boastful about just how enormous our culture is going to be in the future, because we are growing, and we are growing fast. I had no idea of this great population growth growing up, but now looking back, it's evident. By the early 22nd century, Texas will be bigger in population than France, Germany, and Poland combined. We are going to be a regional superpower. Nothing can stop it. And I think, knowing that is the inheritance and destiny of Texas, we should walk the earth with more humility, because we have a great responsibility in the centuries to come. Our culture, Texan culture, at the center of North America, will shape the destiny of the world. My parents named me Benjamin, and that combined with a German heritage that was clear, and the fact that I am a homosexual and the religious sense around me was Christian and quite hostile to that, and that the first family who embraced my sexuality were Jews, maybe that was inevitable, that I came and found Judaism because of Texas. Jews have been a part of Texas since the 16th century. Yes, that old. And they fought in Texas during our War of Independence against Mexico, and against Spain before that. There are around 120,000 Jews in Texas, and most of them live in the wider Houston area I grew up in. The Jews I met were cool with my homosexuality, open to my name Benjamin, and most of them have German or Czech, Austrian, or Polish ancestry. And so this made me feel at home, from the food to the culture to the attitude. My pull towards Judaism, at least in the early days, is because of Texas. I never felt a part of Christianity, and Texan optimism, love of life, fits well into Judaism. How do I see Texas looking back over the two halves of my life, the first half in Texas, the second half outside of Texas? There's just so much I can say.